Vasco here from the Angular University. In the last lesson we wrote the HTTP request that will send our new message to the server. Now let's switch to a branch that contains a version of the server that can save the received message in memory so that it can be displayed on the screen. Again, we will show how the server is built in the final section of this course. Right now, let's head over to the command line and type git branch. This will give you a different list of branches than what you see here, but you should see in your list the send new message to server branch. Let's switch into it. In order to switch to the send message to server branch, we are going to do git checkout and then we pass in the name of the branch. So we are now in the new branch that contains the version of the server that can handle new messages. Let's simply start our server again. In this case, we are going to use the npm tasks section of the WebStorm IDE, or from the command line npm run API server would also have the same result. So we have here our server running. Now let's go back to the terminal and start the new version of our UI. So we simply are going to do npm start. Once you have the server up and running, let's switch to the browser and select the user Alice. We're going to go to the first thread and we are going to type here a new message that will be sent to the server if we hit enter. So we are going to send hello Bob to the server. Now, right now, let's switch to Bob. So we would expect the message hello Bob to be visible to Bob if we click on the same thread. It turns out that it's not the case. Let's see why. So if we switch back here to the code, we can see here that we are sending the request to the server and the request is containing the text of the message. But here in the headers, we have not specified what is the content of the payload being sent. So we are sending JSON, but we are not specifying in the HTTP request that the body of the HTTP request contains JSON and should be parsed as JSON. So the server cannot know what type of content the request body contains. Let's have a look. We are configuring here the body parser JSON in our server. What we need to do now is to indicate in each HTTP request that goes from the client to the server that the content is indeed JSON. In order to do that, we are going to use the standard HTTP content type header. So we need to fill in the content type header with application/JSON, and we are also going to specify the charset of our payload, which is UTF-8 in this case. So if we wait a moment now, our application will be rebuilt automatically. So if we now restart our server, so we can use here the reload task, we switch to the browser and let's try again to switch to the first thread of Alice and type again hello Bob. So if we now switch to the user Bob, we should see here the message that Alice sent it. And let's just quickly try here hello Alice. We switch back to Alice and the message is visible. So this shows that the send new message functionality is working. But what we would like to do here, based on this new branch, is we would like to build the functionality that basically completes our chat application. We would like the unread messages counter to be bumped in case that we receive a message, let's say from Check, so from a user that is not part of the active thread. But also, if Alice and Bob are chatting, we should be able to see here the new message refreshed automatically without having to reload the application. So our application, our chat application, is really coming to life. What we're going to do next is we are going to add the functionality that automatically refreshes the messages of the current thread, actually of all the threads. We are going to see how this refresh functionality is implemented in the next lesson.